What up, what up? Yes, I know, yet again, a ton of time since my last video. I'm really slacking on this whole YouTube thing, but I do appreciate you all still following along and watching this madness. Yep, been super busy out here with projects. I've got a bunch of videos I need to whip up. The weather's starting to turn around. I mean, it's the first week of March and I mean, it's beautiful outside. It's every chance I get, I've been outside with the doors open, just trying to enjoy the spring for what little spring we get here in the Midwest. Anyways, just wanted to jump in here, tell you all, thank you so much for following along. We're at like 2,800 subscribers now. We're working our way to 3,000. Then from 3,000, we're gonna go to 5,000. And maybe by 5,000, I'll have my act together, but who knows? Anyways, let's get into today's video. Thanks, guys. What up? Back out here in the shop, and guys, this is freaking cold. I'll tell you what, here in the Midwest, Missouri specifically, it's cold. I know there's some of you that probably in a different state that's probably a lot colder than our state, but we're like record colds this week. So it ain't been really hard to do stuff in the cold. But one thing we are trying to do is we're trying to get the Mustang ready. But now with this new 80 millimeter, I don't know if it's gonna have what it takes to get where we want to be, but we're trying this turbo out and just see what happens. But I got to get this cooling system upgrade sorted out. I've been working on it a little bit, and well, let me show you where I'm at with it. All right, so I got the brackets and everything kind of tacked in place. I still got to finish welding all this stuff in. Just kind of mocking it up, bolting things on, making sure the bumper fits, this, that, and the other. And I still got to do some more trimming on the bumper to get it to fit, because the header panel hits this bar I added. That was stupid on my part. And then I had to redo this charge pipe again, because with this new turbo, I fabbed it up, and then I didn't do it whenever I had the bumper on it. And then when I went to go put the bumper on it, it hit it again, so I had to redo that again. Got our radiator hoses all kind of mocked up in there. They don't look the best by any means. The routing kind of sucks, but it is what it is. So I'm just now getting all these lines cut and tightened up, and everything's tightened up, and I got a new tool from Harbor Freight we're going to try and use today, and we're going to try and hook this thing up. This is like a vacuum bleeder cooling system test and refill kit. So this basically, you put vacuum on the whole system. It'll actually tell you if you've got a leak anywhere, whether it be it not pulling enough vacuum, or you'll end up hearing it like whistling through like a pinhole or something. But you hook shop air to it, pulls vacuum like 24 to 26 inches of vacuum on the whole system. You shut the hose off, or shut the air off, let it set, see if it'll hold it for, what does it say? I think it says to hold vacuum for, close the air inlet valve, monitor the gauge for 1 to 2 minutes. If the vacuum drops, then you obviously have a leak. If it doesn't, you're good to go. And then you open up this other valve on it, and it sucks water or antifreeze out based on the vacuum in the system. It just sucks it all in there. Then you don't have to worry about air pockets and stuff. So we're gonna hook this thing up and see what this is all about. All right, so we got our cooling system bled with that little thing. Had a couple leaks along the way, a couple fittings, and I had to reroute kind of how I was doing the coolant lines. I've just got normal water in it right now, mainly because I plan on emptying it out anyways and putting distilled water and stuff. I just want to make sure I didn't have any leaks, make sure everything was good, and then we'll go from there. I want to heat cycle the turbo because I haven't ran the car long enough with the new turbo. You can see now it's got some smoke blowing off the exhaust housing there. We'll make sure everything's good there. We might even put it on the two-step, do a little two-step check and see how this thing does just on the two-step. But got my cap and everything back on. Got to fix the vent on it too. I may end up just running a hose right out the windshield cowl there and let it spit over the car. I've got the fan on and it's at 155, 156. was insane. It does rev a little different. All right, guys, so we're out here and we're still messing with the Mustang. I ended up deciding to not change all the fuel lines and stuff. I kind of pulled them all apart and kind of gave them a once over, looked at everything. Everything looks good. We've got the new pump on it. And the last outing, or the last two outings, was when I really started to notice the fuel pressure issue with this thing. And it seemed like it progressively got worse. And then that's why we ended up, I think the first rental we went to with the car, that was when we pulled the filters out of it and stuff. And it still just didn't want to keep up once we started getting up there and boost. Well, once I started doing the math, I think we were actually running out of fuel pump there. I think the car was making roughly 1,000 horsepower or something with that 4303 Magna fuel. So I think we were kind of at the limit of that pump. And I could be wrong. It could have been filters and stuff then. But like I said, we pulled the elements out. So I was hoping that if it was a filter issue, we would have fixed that. So then we brought the car back. I changed out to the bigger Magna fuel pump. I upgraded the relay on the pump and put bigger power wire and stuff on the relay and then to the pump as well. And then I ended up just cleaning the filters and putting the filters back in it. And then we took it out for the last rental and we still had problems. I think we ended up just cranking the base pressure up. I can't remember if it was the first rental or the second rental that we did that. Go back and look at the videos and see. But I partially think that when we went out for the second rental, the car ran the PB, the 527, but that day we were still having fuel pressure issues where it didn't really seem like it wanted to go 1-to-1. And we had changed the regulator that time too. So new pump, new regulator, new wiring to the pump, old filters. I was pretty sure the filters were clean, whatever. But anyways, so I got it up and I was kind of going to reevaluate how it was plumbed and stuff. Because I've got some 180s and such on the pump. Like the feeds and stuff are all kind of wonky looking. A lot of people are like, oh, well, the 180s will hinder flow and all this stuff. And I said, piss on it. I got 2 new filter elements. I changed those out. The old filters didn't look terrible. The post filter there was a restriction in the post filter. When I pulled it out last night, tried to blow through, it was really hard to blow through. And even once it dried, it's still not as easy to blow through as the other pump. So I think there was an issue there. Well, I changed the pump. So when I said piss on it, I put all the lines and stuff back on it and fired it up, and it actually has 5 more pounds of base pressure now with clean filters. So that shows me there was a restriction in the filters. The downfall is with this bigger pump, the lowest pressure this thing will go is like 60 pounds base, which is fine. 58 pounds is where the LS usually runs, so 60, whatever, that's fine. But which is, I think, what we ran it at the last time because that was the lowest it would go. So me trying to fix this problem, I was like, I need to go to the dyno and do all this stuff. I thought, well, why don't I just put pressure to the diaphragm of the regulator and just add pressure to it and see if the pressure will go higher than we were seeing at the track. The most we would see the last couple outings was like 74. I think one time it spiked to 77, but the graph for the fuel pressure was really notchy and stuff, and that could be a sensor issue. We did try and change sensors and stuff on it too, but yeah, it was just didn't look right. So I think what I'm going to do is I was going to get one of the little Mighty vacuum and pressure testers, and I thought, why would I do that? Which I did buy one. I bought one I went to AutoZone and bought one of those little pressure testers. Well, it's not pressure, it's only vacuum. So I was like, gosh darn it, now I got to go back up there. And I started looking online, and the Mighty Vac, MV8500 is the one that does pressure and vacuum. That thing's like $100. I was like, man, that's a lot of money for a little tool that I'm probably not going to use that much. Then I thought, I've got my leak down tester. I was like, why don't I just do that? You can add pressure and regulate it and turn it up to whatever you want. So that's what I'm going to do. Like I said, the car had 5 more pounds of base pressure, so I tried to lower the pressure a little bit, got it back down to 60. That's about where it stops. I've got my leak down tester out. I've got it hooked up. Let me show you how I did this. So here we got the leak down tester, got our little hose, and got me a couple little unions here, and then hooked in my vacuum hose to this. So then we should be able to hit this, start this up, turn some pressure, and see how high we can get the pressure to go. And in theory, we're just adding boost to the top of the fuel pressure regulator. So if the pressure goes up, we should be good. I think 32 to 35 would be ideal. I don't know if this little turbo will make that much boost, but I guess we'll see. So I need to see if it's 60 base, I need to see at least 90 or 95 pounds of fuel pressure So I might actually data log this too, which I need to go get the SD card. But I may start it up, put some pressure to it, let it run for a second, and then we'll start adding some pressure to the top of the diaphragm on the fuel pressure regulator, and we'll see what the fuel pressure will go up to. But like I said, the most we saw at the track was like 74 was pretty well the average. And then every now and then you would see like a little spike to like 77, and that was on like 27, 28 pounds of boost. So we should have been upwards of like 85 pounds of fuel pressure. And with the fuel pressure falling that low, we were creeping up in duty cycle on the injector, and in turn the Holley doesn't like to run a lot of duty cycle on the injector, and then you start getting like a high RPM cut, and it almost felt like it was almost like hitting a limiter. But it's like anytime it got over like 92 to 93% duty cycle, you were flirting with that line, and it would just start breaking up real bad. You could drop it, or if we raised the base pressure, then it didn't do it. So I know it's a duty cycle issue there. So we need to make sure we can get the pressure up where we want it. So let me go grab the SD card, we'll put it in there. We'll start a little data log, and then we'll see what we're looking at. All right, so we got the SD card in this thing. We're gonna fire it up. It's just gonna get loud in here. And I'm gonna go ahead and start a data log. And see what our test shows here. Start. As you can see there, we got about 60 pounds of fuel pressure. We're gonna add some pressure here. We're gonna go up to about 20 pounds. And there we got 76, so that should be about 16, 17 pounds. This one says 20 here. So now we're there, that's about 80. So that's about 20 pounds. What it says here. That should be about 30 pounds. Yeah, so we're about 90 pounds of fuel pressure. There's 40, so that should be 100. Yeah. That should do it. I mean, we were able to manually add pressure to the top, and it got up to 100 pounds. So, I mean, in theory, that should be good. I guess we can say that the fuel pressure works. I should have done that test before I changed all the filters and stuff, but I didn't. So that's my bad. We got our cooling system all bled, got the bumper and everything put back on the car, obviously. I did go ahead, when I was going through the data logs, looking at old data logs, I did notice up high RPM in high gear, I was starting to lose battery voltage. It was starting to drop to like 12.9, 12.8. So that may have been some of our issue as well. So I went ahead and put a ICT manual tensioner on it, and then one of the HD belts, so there's a little less deflection in one of those fleet belts. Yeah, it's green, doesn't look the best, but we're just trying to solve problems here. But I think by changing the filters and everything else we got going on, I think we're in a pretty good place to get this thing out and test it as soon as the weather gets better. I'm hoping we're ready. We still got a little while before testing starts. I know a couple of the local tracks, I say local, I know a couple of the tracks here in Missouri are gonna open up here before too long and start testing tunes, but I don't know how well the track will be just yet, so I may have to wait. Probably need to get it put on the dyno just to verify fuel pressure rises and everything. So hopefully we can find some decent weather coming up here in the near future. Maybe we can get it out to our buddy Tauss's shop and try and put it on the rollers and make a couple pulls and just kind of see where the boost lies, how this turbo is going to respond, and you know that we've got good fuel pressure. So anyways, I know it's been a while since I posted the video, guys. I'm super sorry. I'm not as much of a full-time YouTuber as I thought I was gonna be a year ago when I started this adventure. We're gonna hopefully get to do some testing here pretty soon. We got some other videos coming up, so I'll try and be better here in the next couple weeks. I've got some videos in the works. I just gotta cut some stuff up and put it together for you guys. So thanks for watching, guys. I appreciate everybody, and keep following along. We'll see you on the next one.